Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation, Closing the Data Gap. Today, we'll examine how marketers can grow revenue and prepare their brand for a cookieless future in a complex and uncertain consumer marketplace. We encourage you to submit questions at any time using the Q&A button. We will answer your questions at the end of the webcast. If we run out of time or if a fuller answer is needed, you will receive an answer via email. So let's get started. Our speaker today brings deep know-how in pinpointing revenue opportunities and gauging the true impact of marketing investments. Nayyar serves as Partner Lead, DTC, Retail, and Subscription Services at Cardlytics, where she works across an array of enterprise clients to transform strategic business objectives into impactful, meaningful, measurable, and profitable performance marketing campaigns. Maya holds her MBA from UNC Kenan-Flagler Business School, and prior to Cardlytics, has spent the last decade as a digital media sales and advertising technology professional, working on both the publisher and demand side of the programmatic landscape. Maya currently lives in Raleigh, North Carolina with her family, including her son, who will be celebrating his first birthday in October. And now I'm going to hand it over to Maya.
Thanks, Randy, and welcome to today's webinar. Before we start, I want to introduce you all to Cardlytics and expand on why we are presenting this topic today. Cardlytics is the biggest ad platform you've never heard of, and that's because our ads run within bank digital channels, and the banks brand it for themselves. So we are Chase Rewards. We are Bank AmeriDeals. Our network consists of the largest banks in the US, and we see around 50% of all debit and credit card swipes nationwide. For the banks, this helps increase their customer loyalty. It lowers attrition rates and drives card usage. And in turn, we have full access to pristine bank consumer transaction data. We see everything you see on your account statement minus the PII. We know where people live, where they shop, how much they spend, and how often. And we use that to target ads and measure the impact of the campaigns we run. And unlike ads you may have purchased in the past, there is a consumer benefit. If a customer takes advantage of an offer, they see money deposited from their bank into their account. And as you can imagine, cash promotes some seriously incremental behavior. So to set the stage, we know this year is unique in that it is going to be one of significant shifts and experimentation for retail marketers. Specifically for today's webinar, we'll examine trends as well as feedback from fellow retail marketers. We also want to take a look at how to fill the gap between first-party data and a whole wallet view, and how loyalty programs can put you a step ahead when it comes to cookie deprecation. My goal today is to help you uncover new and quantifiable opportunities to meet your revenue goals and elevate the elements of your marketing strategy that you have control over. So let's start with what your peers across the retail and D2C space are saying. Cardlytics, in partnership with Retail Dive and Incisive, surveyed marketing executives across retail and D2C brands to determine what the biggest gaps are and where the biggest opportunity is when it comes to revenue growth. Let's take a look at the three key findings. Overall, what stood out to us was that most respondents admitted that a lack of accurate data is their biggest problem, and more specifically, data about how their customers are spending with their competitors. Google may have delayed the ultimate death of the cookie, but that doesn't mean marketers can breathe easy. Brands have relied on third-party cookies for behavioral targeting and remarketing campaigns for decades, and change won't happen overnight. Brands can use rewards programs to build a loyalty bridge that turns their best customers into brand advocates. A properly designed and executed loyalty program is a powerful owned media channel that builds engagement, grows market share, and drives sales. But how confident can you really be looking at only your first-party data without understanding how your customers spend across the entire category. Let's dive into a few examples. First, let's contrast two customers, both big spenders with your brand. In this example, both customer 1 and customer 2 spent $500 with you in the last year and made one purchase per month. And this is all something you can see with your first-party data. Based on only your first-party data, you might consider both customers to be super loyal. You might shower them with gifts and coupons to get them to spend more, or you might think that they are tapped out from a revenue perspective based on their average spend. What you can't see, however, is customer 2 spent $900 with category competitors, while customer 1 spent $0 with competitors. So in reality, these customers have wildly different potential value to you. And reasonably, you'll want to focus your marketing dollars on one and not the other. That's where loyalty programs come in. Strong brand loyalty programs are built on first-party customer insights and present a wealth of opportunities to grow your data assets for targeted campaigns. If a loyalty program isn't part of your marketing strategy today, it should be. The pivot toward loyalty programs as a way to replace third-party data requires some agility in marketing tactics. The awareness to conversion journey must be replaced by a conversion to advocacy journey to maximize the program's value. Loyalty programs can help bridge that gap, and we know this from success we see with today's partners. A recent survey extended to our bank customers show it as well. When customers are presented with cashback offers, 83% of customers are more likely to shop that brand, and 74% are more likely to spend additional dollars with that brand. Next, let's take a look at 4 different customer segments and their spend with your brand versus your competitor. Which one would you target? If you have access to customer spend data, not just with your brand, but with other brands in your category, you can see your customer base in a whole new light. It's important to retain your big spenders, sure, but if you want growth, you need to focus your marketing dollars on the group with the biggest headroom. We all know how essential hitting key seasonal goals are for both retailers and e-commerce brands. In this example, let's take a look at how one brand's seasonal performance stacks up against their competitors. Being able to evaluate your performance against not only your goals, but across your category gives you greater insight into where you may be falling behind compared to your competitors. This one's a little more complex. Each bar on the chart shows the percentage of your customers that were new to your business. The trend line shows the annual spend of those acquired customers over the course of a year. So in other words, the value of an acquired customer varies depending on when you acquire them. You can see in this example that January through April is the time when you acquire stickier customers who spend more over time. All of this information is used to target smarter and more efficiently. These stock photo people who clearly really love indoor plants would agree, constantly measuring and improving is vital. It's always difficult to get it right, especially as cookies near their demise. This is why we see a shift of dollars to walled gardens like ours. I'm obviously just scratching the surface here and simplifying a bit, but there are 2 analyses we run for nearly all of our advertisers. We'll take your presumed competitive set and look at the last X months of share of spend from our targeted audience across that set, as well as with the advertiser brand. We'll do the same analysis after the ad campaign and look at who we shifted spend from. The C-suite loves this one. It tends to make it into a lot of board meeting decks because it is a great ego graphic. But smart marketing teams use it to revise their understanding of who the competition really is. For example, from who is it easy to take customers and why? Who do you have trouble stealing share from? What are they doing that you are not? And finally, our strongest selling point is a statistically robust incremental analysis. We run this for every advertiser, full stop. I understand test versus control is not a novel concept. However, it's typically run within the confines of a walled garden or is a really expensive and intensive endeavor. Because we see consumer spend, we can carve out control groups who would have been targeted with our ad and then analyze pre and post campaign spend at the account level to measure the impact of our ad and only our. Because of the scale we have, we often get statistical significance of 99%. It is real. You can understand your incremental CPA or ROAS. If it passes your hurdle, then the investment is a no-brainer. So what does this all look like in action? Let's take a look at a recent customer case study from Cardlytics. The client is a national shoe retailer. Their goal was to gain better understanding of where, when, and how consumers shop. The challenge was to target active buyers in the shoe category with little or no purchases with the brand. The solution for this particular client was to leverage Cardlytics' whole wallet view to accurately identify, target, and acquire these customers. And the results? They gained significant market share and saw over 50,000 purchases from new customers that yielded a ROAS that far exceeded their target.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Maya, for all that valuable information. We're nearing the end of our allotted time, so we want to answer some of your questions. And remember, if we don't get to your question now, we'll be sure to deliver an answer via email. So the first one I see is, are you able to share some of the retail shopping trends you've uncovered in the recent months?
Sure, Randy. So we do continue to see overall consumer spend soften as we move throughout the year. Many categories are still slightly up year over year, but in reality, that growth is supported by increased basket size. For this year's back to school shopping season, we saw that trends were down about 8.4% compared to 2021 during the same period. And when we look ahead to the upcoming holiday season, we are expecting shoppers to shop earlier and to shop around for the best deals.
Yeah, for sure. And can you expand on what are reliable indicators of customer loyalty and ways to increase loyalty behaviors?
Yeah, absolutely. So loyalty programs are a big focus for more and more retail brands. The key to success here is understanding which customers are truly loyal and which spend with a similar frequency and look loyal, but actually prefer competitive brands. So first, understanding your customer's true brand preference, how you define a loyal customer against how active they spend in the category with your competitors, and then using that data to identify a true tipping point for becoming loyal. So you no longer need to invest there and you can reallocate that budget elsewhere. Obviously, this all requires a full data view. As far as ways to increase loyalty, you need timely, highly relevant offers or value adds. As spend is starting to slow, consumers are looking for frictionless ways to save on purchases. So expired codes, for example, can be frustrating. Also, platforms can be congested and you don't want to be part of that noise. So personalization really matters.
And can you tell us about privacy considerations of accessing consumer bank data?
Sure. So working with bank data, we have strict data governance and we never have access to bank or advertiser PII. So it's really not a concern. If we are layering in CRM data into our campaigns, we always utilize a third-party privacy partner like a Nayyar, LiveRamp, or Experian.
What marketing assumptions should marketers challenge this year? So, for example, accuracy of loyalty indicators, roles of demographics, use of attribution models.
Yeah, so demographics as an indicator of consumer spending patterns are far from the most efficient targeting model. Using actual purchase data can guide marketers on their true loyalty of their customers. You should invest in the customers with the highest spend potential. And the best indicator of this is how much they are spending in the category when they are not spending with you.
Okay, and I think this is the last question I see. What's something marketers can do now to compensate for incomplete data?
Yeah, so marketers must have data to understand the impact of each channel. You can form test and control groups based on prior spend data from category to amount to frequency, all to ensure a clean test, which isolates the variable to measure marketing channel, creative, or while testing can be a lot of work, it is the difference between brands that grow their revenue and loyalty and those that are falling behind.
Okay, and thank you so much for answering all those, Maya. So that wraps up our Q&A for now, but if you have submitted a question that was not answered, Maya will be following up with a response soon via email.
Thanks, Randy. So there is no plug and play replacement for third-party data on the horizon. So Google is eventually putting the final nail in the cookie coffin. Apple and Firefox banished theirs years ago. The heightened awareness around ethical data collection and privacy concerns means brands will need new ways to segment and activate their audience. Paired with the current economic uncertainty, marketers are challenged more than ever to know more and engage further with their customers. We are here to help your brand take on the cookieless future and elevate your loyalty program. So let's talk. Use the QR code on the screen, request a custom opportunity report from Cardlytics. This custom free report will give you insight into spend across your category. Thanks everyone for participating today. At the conclusion of this webinar, there will be a short survey to get your feedback and interest in learning more from Cardlytics. On behalf of eTail and Cardlytics, we hope you have a great day.